Hello, my name is Kayla McGarry, and I attend Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas. I am currently enrolled in Nursing 4540, Nursing Practice, Care of Communities. I have developed a teaching plan. The objective of this teaching plan is to educate the community that I grew up in Port Arthur, Texas, on disaster preparedness. Because this community is composed of primarily older adults that has been living in the community for 30 plus years, this is the audience I am targeting. I will discuss in this teaching plan how to effectively and correctly access resources to ensure adequate nutrition, adequate medication administration, and durable medical equipment availability prior to a disaster. It is essential that the members of the community thoroughly comprehend the importance of having non-perishable food items prior to the occurrence of a natural disaster or man-made disaster. Due to so many in the community suffering from illnesses that require adequate nutrition to ensure safety, it is vital that necessities be readily available. I have here some non-perishable food items that I will educate you guys on. These are things that can be stored and they don't spoil easily or quickly. I will first discuss water. It is important that when preparing for a natural or man-made disaster, you have water available. Water is non-perishable. It does not expire or spoil. The next thing I will discuss is called Vienna sausages. It's a potted meat, but it can adequately provide nutrition in the occurrence of a natural disaster. Things such as tuna fish. It's packaged, it's light, and it does expire, but not soon. It's at least good for over 1 year if kept in this airtight package. I also have here crackers. These can be stored, does not need to be refrigerated, and they can be used for nutritional value. I also have other things available that I believe the community can benefit from to keep contact information, to keep personal information, social security cards, birth certificates, all of those things safe during a natural disaster. I feel those things are important, and those are the things that you do not want to get destroyed during a natural disaster. So it is important that you put things in water-resistant pouches. I have here a container. It's not very water resistant, but it keeps your documents all together in one setting. This is an example of it. You can store things such as your social security cards and your birth certificates or pictures. You can also place this in like a Ziploc bag. That's a Ziploc bag could be a form of a water resistant pouch. But of course you would have to get a larger Ziploc bag. So those are things that you can use to keep your information safe. You also want to have all of the information for your doctor's appointments, all of your medications written down. You want to keep that in a water resistant pouch as well. One of the objectives here is for the members of the community to be able to keep their information safe and be able to efficiently have access to these resources. You need to know all of your information in case you are displaced. Another objective of my teaching plan is to be for the member of the community to be able to demonstrate how to adequately access resources such as pharmacies to get medication refills prior to a natural disaster, or DME companies to make sure that you have things readily available, such as walkers, if you need a walker for mobility, or supplies such as shower chairs or Hoyer lifts if mobility is really impaired. Things like oxygen tanks, portable oxygen tanks is essential if you actually need that, if you have a condition, a respiratory condition that requires you to have oxygen continuously. So the member of the community should be able to have a card, or after this teaching plan, be able to demonstrate how to get in touch or contact the DME company in order to receive the necessities. According to the American Red Cross, there's a disaster preparedness handout that I would like to discuss, and it's just a few tips that will help prepare you in the event of a natural disaster. One thing that I think the members of my community that are a bit older should do is make arrangements prior to an emergency. You need to have a support network readily available and to help you in the event of an emergency. You should have medications stocked and ready. This is in reference to one of the objectives. Calling those pharmacies, making sure that they have, medication refills. Make sure you have an adequate supply. You should keep emergency supplies readily available, which goes back to my objective with non-perishable food items. Water, food. You should have batteries. You should always have a flashlight in the event of a power outage. Agree on and practice methods for contacting each other in the event of an emergency. Sometimes you may not have that landline that you can use due to a power outage. You need to make sure you have maybe portable devices or have systems in place to be able to contact emergency officials or family or friends. You and your support network should always notify each other when you are going out of town and when you return. You should have chargers and full batteries for electrical devices as needed. Have a set aside funds for traveling expenses. There are resources prior to natural disasters like American Red Cross that may have shelters set up and in place for those that does not have shelter. So we need to make sure that we have, we know all of these resources. You need to pretty much have everything written down. You pretty much have to have a plan. You have to be proactive when it comes to preparing for a natural disaster. They're pretty much inevitable, and sometimes we can't control what happens in the event of a natural disaster. So my advice to all of the members of my community again would be to make sure you have a plan. Make sure you have those non-perishable food items. Make sure you have a supply of at least 3 to 5 days. You know, those things that you don't need electricity to eat. Those things that you don't need to microwave. Things of that sort, the non-perishable food items. Again, make sure you have all of your medications written down. You should have the 5, the dosage, the name, the route, the frequency, in case something, there is something happens to you and you can't communicate this with someone. It needs to be in a written form, so that if someone needs to give you medications, they could read the medication and know how to administer these medications. And there should be an adequate supply. Also, we do just want to make sure that you have those DME companies. You have to contact these people prior to natural disasters, because these are individuals as well that may need to prepare for a natural disaster. So you always want to be mindful of that. This concludes my teaching plan. I have attached a pre-test for the community to have access to in regards to my teaching plan, and I have also attached an evaluation tool for my community to evaluate my teaching plan. I've attached an article on disaster preparedness for emergency situations. I think that it would be very beneficial for the members of my community to take a look at this and read through it and read to understand. It has some very good information that could help in the event of a natural disaster. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to my teaching plan. I hope that the information I have provided to you will be beneficial to you and help you prepare for in the event of a natural disaster.